Gotcha.
I know it's early, first week, but what are your early impressions of how things are going for your guys?
Things are going well. It's all about the enthusiasm and the energy of those guys, the willingness to learn and to adapt to the change that's happening. Not only X's and O's wise, but just an overall mentality. And those young men have been running around doing all the things that's been asked. So it's been good so far.
Coach Rule had mentioned he's kind of adjusting to you. You're adjusting to him. Have you noticed any of those adjustments? What have they been?
I wouldn't say adjustments. I'm really, again, I keep saying this, but it's because it's the truth. I'm really fortunate. I'm really lucky to be here at Nebraska. I'm really fortunate to be around Coach Rule. It's being around him. It's you understand why the success is there. And I'm constantly taking notes and trying to absorb as much as I can, and get things right. So that way we can be good, but also so that I can learn to be a better coach. So I don't know about him adjusting to me. I'm adjusting to him all the way. Yeah.
How much of the spring is spent trying to figure out where maybe certain guys fit position-wise, and then you kind of want them to settle? Is there a point in the spring where you want them to settle at a certain spot if you're kind of cross-training or looking at guys in hybrid roles?
Yeah, I mean that's the daily evaluation of the staff. We've already moved a lot of guys around, and the really neat deal about this practice and the practice style is that you're seeing a lot of guys take reps. So it's really neat. But there's always a constant battle now between the X's and O's side of moving guys around. Let's see him do this. Let's see him do, and making sure that the mentality is right. And right now, being the first day in pads and all that stuff, I think that's the most important thing, is establishing how we are going to play. X and O's, they will take care of themselves, film study, they getting stuff on the grass, all that stuff, but the mentality is the most important thing right now, and that's the thing we got to work on.
Any of those moves that you've made look especially intriguing to you, just 3 days in, something that excites you?
Yeah, I mean, I think to highlight some guys, Malcolm Hartzog is really standing out. He's versatile. I mean, he's a really good football player. Smart, movement skills, instincts. Really like what he does in all the spots back there. So another surprise is John Bullock. I think moving him down was a really good move. He, first day in pads, and I mean, I don't know how many times I said John out there. He was lighting things up, moving around. So it's. Those are what I would say be the first two guys. I mean, we've moved some other guys around and at all three levels, so I got to go back and watch. But those are the two guys that you say somebody moved positions. Who are the first two? Those two guys.
Where'd John move from?
Backer. We moved him down to backer. I know he was moving. He was a DB. We're moving safety, all the rovers, all that stuff, and then we moved him to backer to see what he was doing, and then he's moving around. Today he was at backer and he was moving around well.
How about Hartzog? How are you moving him around?
He was moving around between corner, safety, outside, inside, all that kind of stuff, nickel, all that stuff. So, and he's done a nice job there. Yeah.
Did Malcolm's film kind of from last year pop out to you before you even got on the field?
Yeah, you can tell he had that little it factor in him. So seeing him live, seeing him in off season move around, you're like, okay. But then it was his attention to detail. It's his. You always say good football players, they're really low maintenance. That means they get it, they understand, they know where they got to be, they know what they got to do, they understand their process, of how they're good, how to be good, and he's just like that. So it's good to see him run around and make plays.
Do
Yeah.
you label that 50B as a nickel in your system? Do you call him a rover? Is there any difference at all between those two spots?
Yeah, the rover is more the middle, like the hybrid kind of linebacker DB, and those two outside guys. Those guys interchange between being a nickel and being a free, being a strong, all that kind of stuff.
So who do you like as a rover? Do you identify people yet?
No, we've been moving guys around. I mean, obviously Giff, he's doing a nice job in there learning what to do. He's got some savvy to him. He's making plays. Miles Farmers has gone in there some, and he's another athlete that we got to do a good job of making sure he knows what to do and how to do it. Gage is, he was the turnover king the other day, had a couple of interceptions in the red zone. So we got a lot of guys moving around in there right now. So
Where does I know he's in a green jersey, but Javen Wright,
yeah.
where does he fit in your system?
Right now, same. I mean, he's in that rover category just because of his skill set. I remember him out of high school. big, can move around, good movement skills, length, and all that stuff. So it's just hard to get an eval, especially the longer we go, more pads we get, on that. But he is doing individuals and moving around, so we'll see.
What have been your early impressions of Nash Shotmaker, and what can you see him bring to the D-line?
Yeah, he's savvy. He's really savvy. You can tell he's calm. First of all, the best thing about it is he's done a really nice job of making sure his weight is down. He's doing the things he needs to do to make sure that he knows he's going to play and play a lot. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is he's smart. He's absorbed a lot of the defense. And again, when you get him in there and you see him, you always notice him around the ball. So those are good things. Yeah.
Hey, Tony, you have 3 coaches here that were with you at Syracuse as well. How much has that made it easier to kind of transition this process?
Always easier. But the great thing about it is that it is truly like a mesh of ideas. It's just they call it one thing, we call it one thing. Now we bring it together. This is how we are going to call it here. And so it's been really neat meshing everything together and getting the guys in the spots and letting them go. Yeah.
I've heard a lot of the
How long
coaches.
is that going to take, that verbiage, to get everybody on the same page, using the same language?
It never stops. I like to say it's organic. I mean, even from my years at my first year at Syracuse and the last year, we were constantly changing things, calling things different, trying to cut out extra vocab. My biggest deal is making sure those young men, when they run out there, they are not thinking. They play. So, we always self-review and make sure that we're not trying to tell them too much in between stuff and try to control them like robots, So it's always changing. It's always changing.
The coaching staff was using the word intentional a lot today in between drills, even for stretching. What exactly does that word mean?
We want to know what we're doing. We want to know what we're doing and why you're doing it, and that's in everything. When you're herding that big of a group around, sometimes guys go to drill, they just run through the drill and they just do it. Really big on making sure we do things deliberate. They know why they're doing it, how it applies to them on the grass, and how it's going to benefit them on the grass. So the more they hear that verbiage, the more they understand it, the more they see it on tape. I think then you turn it from thinking about it to instinct, and when you get a guy going off instincts, they play better.
A few weeks ago, Coach Rule mentioned you got a lot of defensive backs. How have you seen those guys feed off the competition? Maybe some of those guys you've even switched around to different spots, but how do you see that sort of playing out with so many bodies there?
Oh, no, again, that's why the practices are designed the way they are. That we need to see everybody. That's what spring is for, right? We want to develop everybody, not only with the scheme, but to see who's going to absorb it, who's going to perform on the grass. So coach is putting them in a lot of different situations, a lot of different drills, if you guys saw chaos, it's a lot of moving parts, a lot of chaos out there, but you got to think. You got to be able to hone that in. You got to be able to control your thoughts, and you got to be able to perform. So we're getting as many guys ready, getting as many guys reps, and seeing what they can do.
I know it's early to get too specific on some guys, but like Elijah Judy, there's a lot of intrigue in him as a guy from A&M.
Yeah.
What has he shown you, or what do you see as
There's a reason why he was at A&M. He's a big guy. He's got some movement skills, twitchy. So he's just maturing in the process right now. It's day one in pads. So we'll get a chance to go back through and see, but I'm not necessarily judging the guys so much on the X's and O's. It's the process, right? It is the way we are going to do things. That's the most important thing that I can say right now is there's a way we're going to play football, especially on defense. There's a way that we want our mindsets to be, and you are going to be that way. And today was the first day that we got a chance. I know you guys heard, dominant contact. You heard intentional. That is the most important thing for everyone, us included as coaches, is that we make sure that mindset is right first, because then the X's and O's will take care of itself.
Back to the DBs for a second. It's a long and lean group. How explosive is that position group?
Very. That's one of the things I noticed right when I first got here was you got a lot of guys who are big, long, fast, athletic. So now it's making sure, again, they buy into what we're asking them to do, and then the X's and O's will come. But it's really neat that when they don't know what to do, you see a little bit more of the instinct comes out. Hey, I blew a call, but I'm out here, the ball is snapped. Let's go. Let's see what you got. And it's cool that some of those guys are making plays. I mean, Omar Brown, again, the other day, he blew a coverage. He completely blew a coverage, but he saw where the ball was, ran to the ball, undercut a receiver, interception. So it's neat to see those kind of things happen.
You
kind of inherited defensive back process that has like literally 3 or 4 guys that are 6'4" and taller. Like when you have guys in that frame, where does your mind go as to how you might be able to use them?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, again, it's all of what they do. You know, you throw them in different situations. You put them on the grass and see what they do, and then you say, okay, their skill set is like this, their best use like this, and then you move them around. Like I said, I mean, Malcolm, Miles, Braxton Clark. I mean, those guys, just off the top of my head, are guys that we've already moved around multiple times to see what they can do and all that kind of stuff. I mean, Coach Cooper's doing a nice job every day of seeing and discussing, like, hey, let's move this guy here, let's see this guy here, let's do this here, and giving them a chance to display their skill set.
Do you think Malcolm could be something other than the corner that he's been for the first 2 years?
He is. I'll just say he's a good football player. So it wouldn't surprise me that he's all over the place. Yeah.